Welcome to What in the Wedding, a wedding planning podcast where we help you expect the expected.
That's right. We said expect the expected because while you probably don't attend a lot of weddings,
We do.
so sit back, relax, and listen while we chat all things weddings. Enjoy.
We're back
We're back.
again.
We
Here
say
we
that
are.
every time. We're
We
like
do.
3
We're
years
back.
later. We're back. No, it's
We
not
did good. It was like 3 weeks this time.
that.
We did
Okay.
well.
I think that's good because we used to say one a month.
Yes, we're in wedding season. Okay, today, last episode we were a little vendor heavy in the conversation, so this is going to
We
be
were.
more for the couples that are listening to this. So today we're going to talk about just like what's happening in wedding season, the trends that we're seeing, the things that are coming back, the things that are going out. We are going to touch base per our couple. One of our couples at the beginning of May mentioned that they would like us to talk about their wedding. So let's skip over the news story today so we can talk about a little because it's been like a month and a half since that wedding already.
I know. I was like, it's 6/16. So like literally a month and a half, which is crazy. I do not feel like May
That's
is
crazy to
over.
me. So, Cameron and Chaz, shout out if you're listening. They got married the beginning of May. Ashley was not actually there. Her team was there because Ashley was at another wedding. So, I was with Lauren and Irene. Shout out to them.
We love
And
them.
it was one of the coldest beginning of May weddings I've ever photographed.
I know. I always tell everyone, honestly, my beginning of May is not that cold, but like they're always colder. Like as soon as
They're
someone
chilly.
inquires for beginning of May, I'm like, just be prepared. I mean, it can happen. You can have a really warm day. For the most part, it's a little cold.
It's usually sweater weather. This was like winter coat weather.
This was like, hi, I need my toboggan and my earmuffs and my gloves and my
That's funny.
parka. And I was in an outdoor tent wedding.
Yes, and they are the ones who hired the Etsy witch.
Yes, they did. The
Because
Etsy witch.
Cameron, my bride, pulled me real close and she was like, you know why it didn't rain today? Ashley's other bride hired the Etsy witch. And that is how I learned about the Etsy witch. I mean, in the moment, because we'll get to
Liz
the fact
will
that
love hearing this because she actually just texted me. Yeah. That was my bride in the tent wedding.
fantastic. Tell her I said hi and that I love her for this, that I've learned things.
I've learned all the things.
The things I want to talk about for Cameron and Chaz's wedding, because I feel like it really went well. We got all the pictures that we needed. Everything was the way that it needed to be from what I was looking at. But I want to talk about what was going on behind the scenes because they were shooketh that I took his groom detail photos in their laundry room.
Which I'm like, I love. And it doesn't look like it's in a laundry room. Like
I need
at
to post
all.
that. I know. I need to post that and post some pictures. So day started out great. We started at the salon. I met up with the bride and the bridesmaids at the salon. I wasn't there very long, just enough to get some hair and makeup photos. And like you had said before we started, that's not really a priority for couples anymore.
Most of my couples now are starting photographer between 12:30 and 1:30 as hair and makeup is concluding. Like it's done. It's literally they're coming in at 12:30, they're doing detail shots and then shots of the groom actually and the groomsmen and then coming in to do like jammy shots with the girls if, or however the dynamic is at like 1:30 and technically their coverage and the timeline of the day moving starts at that point because it's jammy photos right into dress.
Well, I don't mind. I'll come whenever people want, but I've noticed my couples are also like, nah, you don't need to come for hair and makeup. That's not important to me. Wonder what was that shift? Wonder what caused that?
I know. I think maybe because a lot of the weddings now are saying like, okay, and I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it like, I don't even look at my photos with me in the makeup and getting hair and makeup. Those
Right.
are probably the photos that are the least shared. So I have a feeling it's like the same thing for really late night dance photos.
Yeah.
I always tell everyone you have the really polished dance photos
Yeah.
at the like start of dance time. And then if you keep your photographer or videographer there, it just gets a little messier as it goes on.
Yeah.
And those are the photos at the very end that really aren't looked at as much or shared as much.
Yeah. And before we get too off track, something to mention about reception that I always tell my couples is, it's no secret I don't like to stay up late. But if I'm contracted to be there and that's part of my hourly coverage, I am staying late. So I tell all of my couples, I will stay as late as you want me to stay. However, There's only so much that can happen that's good in still photo at the end of the night. Like you said, there's wine stains, there's beer stains, there's wetness on the floor, people's shirts are untucked, everyone's sweaty if they were dancing. Things are just kind of messy. That translates better in film, video, when there's movement and there's
Oh,
dancing
yeah.
and there's things going on. So I always tell people, videographers, don't come at me, but if you can, a lot of the time, schedule me earlier in the day and schedule them later into the night. That way we kind of stagger because they don't need 18 shots of your invitation and shoes and rings and flowers and all that kind of stuff. Now, every videographer operates differently. So don't take what I'm saying with a grain of salt and make sure you ask them. But the majority of the videographers I work with, when I'm doing all those detail shots in the morning and I'm doing all that hair and makeup, they need about 10 seconds of that.
Mhm.
They don't need hours of it. Like I say hours, I get like a half an hour of details, but they don't need all that time. Where at the end of the night, you don't want 18 pictures of the back of Uncle Ted's head.
It's true.
You want Uncle Ted dancing on the dance floor.
It's true. I'm
So
laughing because you've ruined me, and I know we're gonna get on to because I'm so excited to talk about Chaz and Cameron's wedding. I literally was, like, going through a timeline with a photographer because I do vendor meetings when you have me as a partial planner, and, the photographer's like, "I need an hour and 10 minutes for detail shots," and I was like, "An hour and 10 minutes?"
minutes.
Which it's not just you, like, a lot of my
No,
photographers,
I know.
solid 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, or even, like, 45. I would say 45 is, like,
Love
30
to
to
have
45
45. If
average.
you could give me that next wedding, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay. So, but I was like, hour and 10 minutes. I literally was simply on the call, like, you cannot have an hour and 10 minutes. I was not trying to be like mean, but I was like,
Right.
I can give you 45, 50 minutes, but like that last little chunk,
Yeah.
like it's throwing off the entire timeline. And like we worked it out and everything worked out and it was great. But I was like laughing. I was like, Hannah's ruined me. She's so fast at everything. And like, you still, like, your detail shots look amazing. So it's not like you're leaving anything out. You just, I feel like we have high energy
Yeah.
and I'm expecting
Mhm.
people to match that energy. And not every vendor's like that.
And so to be fair, I'm not a detail heavy photographer. Like I don't carry
No.
a
Yeah.
styling kit. Like some photographers are going to
For
bring their
sure.
whole toolkit. And I tried that for a while, and over the years, I've just felt like if it didn't come with your wedding, I don't want it in your photos. So I don't want you to have the same details in your photos as my bride from last weekend because it came from my kit, if that makes sense. So I want ribbon from your wedding. I want flower
Clock it.
clocket.
Yeah.
I want no
It's
nos.
true. You want your uniqueness to your I'm all
Yeah,
about the uniqueness of your own wedding,
yeah.
and your own detail shots for sure.
But that's a personal thing. So,
Yeah.
also, like, I do, like, 1 or 2 great lay flats. I do 1 or 2 photos of your shoes. I do a lot more photos of invitation and rings because that's personal. But I don't do as many as a lot of photographers do, but my couples know that. That's what they and when I say I don't do a lot, Ashley will tell you my galleries have a lot of detail photos.
They do.
But in comparison to some photographers who, like, that is their niche and that's their favorite part of the day, I'm not gonna have 200 detail shots, so I don't need an hour and a half. However, hour and 10 minutes. I would love to have 45 minutes because my heart is racing, and Cameron and Chaz's wedding was no different.
My blood
Ashley had
pressure's up.
me. Oh, it's up. So the funny things that they're gonna hear now that are funny now that at the time I was just like, "Ah."
Yeah, I'm shifting around
Um
because I wanna look up their timeline because I remember it really, but I just
It
am
was
like,
tight. The beginning of the
was tight.
day
I
was
remember.
tight, and the reason is that they did not spend the money, which they shouldn't have, on getting ready locations. They trusted us, and they listened to us that the getting ready locations can absolutely be your home, and that's more intimate, and it's more personal, and it does not have to be a hotel room that you pay for or a big room that charges $1,000 to rent out. I tell my couples all the time, get the location means less to me than the people, the moments, what's happening. Like I said, I took his detail shots in the laundry room, which we'll talk about, and I will post so that everyone can see them. It does
See
not
these
matter. So
photos.
thank you for doing it at your homes and listening and trusting us to make that work for you.
We were
So
actually texting the day before, Cameron and I, the bride, and she said I was just checking on her. I was like, "How's it going? Are you getting excited for rehearsal?" Because I missed her while I was setting up at the venue. And she said, I actually cleaning my childhood bedroom so that Hannah can take photos in here. And I was like,
yep,
oh, I love
I
that.
know.
Like I
I
don't
know.
get that as much anymore. It's like a room, a hotel room, a house, whatever it is.
Exactly. And there's more
Like an
room in a
Airbnb.
house. There's
Well,
more room in a home, which is how I ended up in the laundry room. So
you're like, the laundry
so
room is it.
so we went from so Ashley had me all over the entire Ohio Valley, which is fine, and I expect from her because she's like, "Hannah, we'll figure this out." So I'm driving like Cruella de Vil from the salon to the groom's home. Now, the original plan and this is going to be a great education for couples, which is why I'm glad we're doing this, on how the couple doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes because it's our job not to let them know that things are kind of getting a little chaotic, but we're going to catch them up. It's also Cameron and Chaz were so traditional and they were such like a great example of it does not have to be a production to be an amazing day, meaning we don't need a hotel room and $1,000 rented room and all the things. So the original plan was that the groom's mom was going to meet me at their house, at his house, so that I could get pictures of her helping him get ready, the flower on, all the things. Now I know the groom's family because I did one of the brothers' wedding back in 2021. So we're kind of friends at this point. So as I was leaving the salon, I talked to mom and I said, "Hey, I know it's really important. You have a gift for him. You want to do getting ready and things. Are you still going to be able to be there at the scheduled time?" She only slightly hesitated. And I was like, "If you can't, it's no big deal. We'll pivot." Because she was still in the makeup chair getting stuff done. I was like, "I am not worried about it." And she's like, "Well, I'm really going to try to be there." I'm like, "If you can't be there, just
Not a big
call
deal.
someone. Let me know. We'll do it at the church." Because my goal for my couples and families is I do not want you to be stressed because of a timeline. Let me do the stressing for you. We'll figure it out. So we got to the groom's house and we've got a house, not a hotel room. We've got a house, which is great because everyone is not sitting on top of each other. I don't have to smush myself into a corner to try to figure out, buy a bed and a telephone and move all the things. Everyone was spread out getting ready. Chaz had all of his details ready for me, which was great. And what I'm looking for is number one, a place with great light. And number two, somewhere I'm not going to be in everyone else's way. Because in hotel rooms, a lot of the times, like I'm on the floor or the bed, or I've got a chair in a corner. And now people need to get past me or over me or in a closet or whatever it may be. And I'm in the way. At a house, I can find my own corner that has good light, mind my business, and not be in anyone else's way. And that happened to be their laundry room.
It's so
Shout
funny.
out to, and he texted me later and was like, "I cannot believe of all the places I cleaned in that house, I did not clean the laundry room, Hannah, because I didn't think the photographer was going to be in the laundry room." It was right off from their kitchen and it had this door with this window and the light was perfect. So I stole a chair from their like kitchen area. I stole like, see, again, I like to use things that are like the couples instead of bringing a
Yes.
styling. It was like a beverage cart, like a wooden tray that you would carry beverages on. I stole that from like his bar area, got all his details set up. And the beauty of it is that once I like blurred the background and got close, the washing machine that was in the background just looked like a white background.
It really did. Yeah. Like, I had no idea you were in the laundry room.
Yeah, I was in the
No
laundry
idea.
room. So then dad came and got me and was like, "Hey, someone's on the phone and needs to talk to you. This is stuff that you don't even know." And it was mom. And she was like, "Hey, just wanted to update you. I'm not going to make it to the house by the time you head to the bride's house. So can we just do that at the ceremony?" I'm like, "Yep, absolutely. No problem."
Love it.
So we're rewriting the timeline. No one knows we're rewriting the timeline because we don't need to tell and stress anyone, but I know. Your people know. So got pictures of the groom getting ready, which we literally took in the corner of his living room he had like open French doors. You call them French doors? Right
Yes.
there. Light was beautiful. And shout out to them. They ordered photos at the last minute to put in frames to put in the background of those photos. It was their engagement pictures. So that was a
Nice.
nice little touch to add if anyone's thinking of like a nice personal touch that you can add. Engagement session pictures in frames in the background. We ended up taking those frames. So they asked me if I could transport the frames. And did I have the flowers too? I feel like I had the flowers. It's already been
You
so
had
many
the
weddings.
boutonnieres. They're
I feel like I had
boutonnieres.
the boutonnieres.
You did have the
Yes,
boutonnieres.
because I pinned them before I left. That's right.
Mhm.
So Ashley had asked me, she said, and this is why working with vendors who know each other are beautiful. She asked me ahead of time, and instead of having the florist drive all over the valley, can you drive all over the valley?
Like,
I'm
literally,
kidding.
and me, literally, and me. Like, I'm like, "Hi, I'm in St. Clairsville. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm in
No.
Wheeling. Hi, I'm back in St. Clairsville."
Ashley knows that I like to pin my own flowers. So
Yeah.
putting me in responsible for the boutonnieres is totally fine. So I pinned flowers. Then we had it raced over to the bride's house. And this is where we fell slightly behind. The bride and I both ran into each other at the door, which I was supposed to get there ahead of time. but we had gotten hung up getting ready pictures and pinning flowers and doing all that kind of stuff. So then I had to get caught up. And I think I took detail pictures in 15 minutes, literally on the floor of her parents' dining room area, because the wood just kind of matched the aesthetic and the colors of
Mm.
the bouquet and everything like that by a sliding glass door. And this was one of those funny moments that now is really funny. And unless you're in the situation, you can't appreciate it. But at the time, I was like, deep breath, Santa. So, what us photographers do is, lamp light is very orange. Light bulbs inside the house are very orange. If you don't know color theory in photographer, which most people don't, light outside is blue. So, when you have light coming in from a natural light window on this side, and you have an orange tungsten light coming in on this side of me will look blue and this side of me will look orange. And when it comes to invitations and shoes in a white dress, that's not great. So I always, every hotel room, house, wherever I go, I say, hey, can we like shut the lights down? My assistants know this. So Becca walked over and she turned the dining room lights off. I took maybe 1 or 2 pictures and someone walked in and said, why are these lights off? And flipped them back on.
Leave it
And
alone.
I'm
No, I'm
like,
just kidding. Yeah.
actually,
Makes
I
sense.
need those lights off. Could we turn them back off? And they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. No problem. They turned the lights back off. I went to take another picture and someone walks in and they're like, why are these lights off? And flipped them back on.
That's hilarious.
And I'm
I'm
like,
dead.
excuse me, I actually have those off on purpose because I'm doing details. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And they turned them back on. And I kid you not, another family member walked in. They're like, why is it so dark in here? And flipped them back on.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
mind you, I'm trying to catch up a timeline. The ladies are trying, hustle and bustle, trying to get ready because we got to get the bride ready and get a first look done and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So
All
I
the
was like,
things.
Becca, go stand by that light switch and don't let anyone
Detail
else
shots
turn the lights
done.
on. But no, Mom Teresa, shout out to Teresa if she's listening. It was
Love
fantastic.
Teresa.
And I'm pretty sure she heard me tell Becca to do that. She's like, no one turned these lights back on. And then like she went back off and like did her
Put
thing.
Teresa on the case. It's so
Absolutely.
funny. I do get close with my mother of the brides, really. I'm usually the most closest with the bride. I was equally close with Teresa and Cameron, but like Teresa and I were the same person.
Yeah.
Like we are one. Like we
Yep.
just got each other from the moment.
I kept telling her, I'm like, you should be a wedding planner. You like maybe that's what you were. Maybe you time traveled in another life because she meant
She did.
business. I never had an issue. She was organized from the very first time she came down to the studio to meet before they even booked. So
I'm going to interject here
yeah,
because you don't know what was happening with those flowers. So I
no,
went to go to the florist, which I'm not, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way I can. If you're an event florist, you really, really need to include in your packages like a drop off location to multiple locations. I'm not saying, traveling 30 miles. I'm saying if it's within a 15-mile radius, you should have like a courtesy to be 2 locations, like a church and a house, whatever it is,
yeah,
or 2
church and a
houses.
reception or
Because then you put either the coordinator or the photographer or a family member on their wedding day, just throwing things off, which is fine. I'm so flexible doing this for so long. So I just like mold to the situations. So I go to the florist, I pick up the florals, I take them to the house, Cameron's house, where you all were getting ready. Dad was there. He was so excited, dropped off their flowers. Well, and this is what happens in day of coordination sometimes. So I come in and they've planned the whole day and I'm simply putting it all together. So that's truly what day of coordination is. Now I do a little bit more than other day of coordinators where I'm like, I'll meet with you a year ahead of time. I do a whole schedule for you, a layout if I can, but I don't usually ask questions like about flowers because that's more the planning aspect because I'm planning those things with you. So I didn't realize that mom of groom had a wristlet and mom of bride had a pin on. And all I see is like MOB, MOG. Well, G and B start to look really similar when you're rushing.
yeah.
So I drop it off and I head to the next location that I have to go.
No.
The salon, because mom had told me, mom of bride, leave my flower with the girls' bouquets because I'm going to be there with them naturally. I
Right.
said, yeah, absolutely. So I get all the way 15 minutes down the road to the location where the salon is,
Yeah.
drop off all the flowers, and mom of groom goes to me, I have a wristlet.
No. And like that's
Mind
an
you, the
honest
florist
mistake.
told me the opposite, which they could have like
Right.
misthought, like
That's
looked at their paperwork, whatever it is.
They probably had 3 weddings that day too.
Which is fine. So like But then it puts me in a situation where I'm
Yeah.
having to run all the way back to the house, switch that out, and come all the way back. Now, here's the thing that people don't realize about me and why they're like, Ashley's so booked. Well, this is the reason why. It is very unlikely that a coordinator is going to start their day without a contracted time. So I had 10 hours for the wedding day contracted. I spent an hour going to get flowers for them. And because it was a different team, so it was
Yeah.
Irene and Lauren. They started at
Yeah.
12. I was doing this for them at 10 a.m. And it's just like this. Like I get so close with my families that it's so important to me that their day is easy
Yeah,
for
you
them.
can't say no.
No, and I don't want to. That's something that's easy for me. The florist was like 5 minutes from my house. Now, that little flub up, it's fine. It happens. And I was like, oh man, but like you get over it and you're like, okay, this is like, I'm just so glad everybody has what they need. And I wanted to be able to get you the boutonnieres to make life simple that day. So, like, these are the things that just why my weddings
Mhm.
are in your weddings, like we are
Right.
successful because we're like, we're not stopping
Right.
until this is done
Right.
for them. So, anyways, needless to say, it was awesome because flowers were done. It was ready to go. Irene was out the house waiting for you. And now we're on to getting her in her dress.
Yeah, so I walked into her room and it literally matched the wedding. So her wedding colors were pink. That must be her favorite color because her room had accents of pink everywhere. So
I
imagine the
love it. That's
beauty
awesome.
that was those photos when I had like
They were
their
gorgeous.
engagement
Yeah.
sessions, which they wore pink at, and her bouquet, which was like a nice spring mix, and her dress hanging on a door, and then her getting ready. And like she had this beautiful like armoire dresser
I saw in the
wooden
pictures. So
behind,
pretty.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then her
So
mom
pretty.
had on, like, a red burgundy dress, and, like, there was, like, a pink blanket at the bottom of the bed. It is just every photographer's, like, best case scenario when that happens, because a lot of the times, hotels are ugly. Sorry, not sorry. Like, they used to always be, like, gold, red, and green, and now everyone has updated to, like, blue, gray, and white. Like,
Like sterile, like
yeah,
hospitals. Yeah.
that's what hotel rooms get. So when you get into an environment that's more personal and the colors all match together and the vibe is the same, it didn't
We're
matter
here
what
for it.
happened. We got her dressed. We got her. There were no issues that I ever. Their earring back? No, we couldn't get the sixpence that was gonna get her shoe open. That was, like, the random, like, hiccup is that it was, like, in this plastic case.
Yeah.
We could not I tried. Shout out to Aaron Woods, the videographer. He's, like, one of my top recommended film guys now. He couldn't get it open, mom couldn't get it open, and I did have to say at that point, like, "We gotta move on, keep
Right.
trying to
We have
get
to keep
that."
going. I've
And
had
then
that. Something going on with earrings. Like it's
yeah.
always like these little things.
Something little that I was like, well, because we can't be late for the ceremony, especially a religious church ceremony. So we got her out in the living room and we did bridesmaid first look. Perfect. No problems. We did dad first look. Dad was ready, waiting in the kitchen. We didn't have to go running for him like we do at some weddings. Perfect. And then right at the last minute, I was like, okay, I have a list. I'm like, did we get everything? Did we get this? Did we get this? Did we get this? Did we get this? And I'm like, oh my God, we did not open Chaz's gift because he had given me his gift to take to her. I was like, "Oh my." So I ran back to the bedroom, and that's why we have lists, people. I don't care what anyone says. Maybe your brain works better than mine, but when you have a tight timeline in the morning and you're trying to get everything covered and you don't have a list, I don't know how things don't get missed. But maybe that's just me. So I ran and I got the gift and I gave it to her, and then everyone was kind of filing out, so it worked out because then she wasn't like surrounded. And I was able to get pictures of her opening his gift. And then we were off to the ceremony, which was a Christian Orthodox. It's not Greek. It wasn't Greek. Christian Orthodox wedding?
It's
Is that what you
considered Russian. They're like Russian
Russian?
Orthodox,
Okay.
which Russian and Greek are similar, but they're not the same. So it's
Yeah,
still like an hour and a half
the layout
ceremony.
of the wedding was similar to the Greek weddings that I've done where they do the flower crowns tied together with a ribbon and they walk around. They had sponsors and things like that, but it
Mhm.
wasn't the same. So I'm glad you explained that to me. The funny part of the
Mind you,
ceremony. Go
Aaron
ahead.
and oh my gosh, you said Aaron because of Aaron Woods, and I'm like, I love him too.
Irene.
But
Yeah.
Irene and Lauren, I would like text them throughout the day. I'm like, hey, how's it going now? And they're like, oh, it's great. And I'm like, no, like, what is actually happening?
Yeah,
And they're like,
no.
no, everything's just going well.
Yeah,
Like we had a little like
yeah,
hiccup in timeline
yeah.
because but they were like,
And
it's
that was a choice. For the most part, it was my choice that the timeline kinda changed because I didn't want his mom to have to be stressed. She did the
right.
gift once we got to the church, which the church is over 100 years old. Y'all, it looked
It's
like it popped
yes.
right out of a storybook.
Literally, it is, it is. Well, and I was gonna say, like, this is a good time to let everybody know, like, timelines are meant to be changed on day of. Timelines are a guide to go back to, but
Yes.
everybody, like, I have a lot of couples right now, they're like, it just happened this past weekend. We're off by, like, 20 minutes, and I'm like, "Oh, that's completely normal. We wanna make sure that we get all these moments for you." Uh, or, if you're greeting guests, we wanna make sure you greet those guests because you will regret that later. You'll look at me and say, "Oh, Ashley, I really wish you wouldn't have pulled me to do this, this, and this." So, like, it's really important to know, like, timelines are meant to be broken.
Yep. And usually you do catch them up, usually. I mean, I
Most of the
always
time,
tell
yeah.
people there are always points in the day that you have to hit, and the ceremony start time is one of them. So behind or not,
Yep,
you get
ceremony start
caught
time.
up once you hit like a ceremony start, a cocktail hour start, a reception start. You always kind of I call those our reset times. So you're rushing to that reset time. So mom got to give him a gift. We did a couple first touch, not first look. They opted for that, very traditional. And then we got to the ceremony. They had told me to make sure that I took pictures of the outside of the church, which at the time I was like, hmm. Then I saw the church and I'm like, okay, I understand now. It is old but beautiful. Like it doesn't look as old as it is. And then when you get inside, it is literally storybook. It's quaint. It's not very big. So when they put all those people in there, I got trapped at the front to the point where the videographer's back was against my chest. And I was okay with it. I'm like, just back up, just back up. And I was up against the wall and he was up against me because there was nowhere to go. And
And
my
you should
num
preface that these are church sweethearts. So, like, not high school
Yes,
sweethearts, not and
church
they
sweet.
didn't date this entire
No, but
time,
they've
not
always
in
gone to the same church and their families have known each other.
always friends, like,
Yep,
nothing ever anything
yep,
more, and then here
yep.
we are,
That was
full
in the
circle.
speeches, which I
So,
didn't know.
literally everyone at this that has been a part of this congregation, which is,
Knows
like,
them.
knows them, and
Yep,
they all can't fit in there. There were people in the
yes.
basement, there were people
Standing.
outside,
Yep,
standing, it was
yep.
wild.
And I am the opposite of many people, and yes, I have a job to do and I have photos to take, but this is not my show. I'm not even a religious individual, but I believe that you respect the church, you respect the guests, you respect the couple, you respect the sanctity of this marriage and this ceremony and everything. And so I don't stand in the middle of the aisle. I stand right by mom when the bride's coming down the aisle, and then I skedaddle to wherever I need to go, which just happened to be behind the bridesmaids. I was trapped. Like there was nowhere
There's
to
no
go.
room.
I was now at the front of the church after processional and I couldn't get out. And our usual system is that I'm at the front of the church to get everyone coming down the aisle. And the moment that dad or whoever is handing off the bride hands off, I swoop around and I go to the back center or the farthest back that I can get without blocking guests because I will not stand in front of guests. And if I
Right.
do have to ever stand in front of a guest for any reason, I will politely whisper, not going to stand here the whole time. I just need to get a few photos. I will squat or please tap me and let me know I'm blocking you. Like, I know some vendors are like, I have to get these photos. And I've worked with some videographers that stand at the front of the church the entire time, which blocks the view of the bride and groom. And I just personally do not like that. So my seconds know that the moment that the bride gets handed off, that they go to the sides and I go to the back. Well, I was trapped. I had a whole line of bridesmaids in between me, and then there were
My
guests down the
goodness.
side and guests in the back. So the bridesmaids were amazing. They saw immediately what was happening and they kind of scooted apart so that I could shoot through them and get the bride and groom, which was actually perfect because now I could get their faces.
Right.
So this day was everything happens for a reason day because had I not gotten trapped there, I would have gotten more side of their heads, back of their heads. In this case, so then I texted Becca, my assistant, and I was like, I'm trapped up here, which if you followed my Instagram, she took a picture where you can see my head between like the whole line of bridal party. And I said, please stay there and take what you can take. And I'm going to stay here. And then I was able to get a lot of the ceremony. And I had talked to the officiant prior to this to make sure of where I could be. And he basically told me I was just not allowed in the front center of the altar. He actually did originally tell me I could be up by the candles, which I told him I would not do because I don't like to be up that far. And then that's
Right.
exactly where I got stuck. which is
That's
really funny
hilarious.
in hindsight because that's where I needed to be to get the shots of their faces. I did
Mhm.
eventually, the bridesmaids stepped a little bit. I waited till everyone stands. So if any vendors are listening, if you're going to make a run for it, try to make a run for it when everyone else is moving and making noise. So at one point they asked everyone to stand again and the pews are creaking and there's things going on. So you're less of a distraction when you make that run for it to a different location. People aren't like really you're not the only one standing and moving in a whole congregation of sitting, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Um so at one point they were asked to stand, and that's when the bridesmaids kind of separated out and let me get through them. And then that's when the videographer backed up like right into me and I'm like, just stay here. We're fine. So I was shooting over his shoulder and he was getting the coverage where because he didn't want to block anyone either. So he got his stuff and eventually I did make it to the back. The ceremony was about what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, it was an hour and a half, exactly.
I think it was
It was an hour and a
originally
half thing.
scheduled an hour and 45 minutes though, if I
It
remember, because
was,
then
which
that
is
gained us back
great.
some time.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they wanted to do well, and I wouldn't say the couple, the families were very involved, which I think is great, but there were certain things that they just required. Like they
Yeah.
required having a recessional, like a
Yes.
receiving line after
Yes. Yeah.
recessional. They required having a receiving line into the reception. They just required a lot of like things that take time. Still an exit. So like doing an exit out of the church. So there was just things that would take time. So it was good that it ended a little early.
And it was good that if you're gonna do those extra things to let the vendors know ahead of time, which they did, so that we could plan for it accordingly. So they didn't drop that on us. We
No,
knew
we were
it was
so
gonna
ready.
happen. So I knew that we weren't going to come out of the back of the church, circle around, and go immediately into family formals. And that's something that both of us have like made our business work on is being flexible. There are many vendors that are like, nope, this is the way I operate and this is the way I'm going to do things. And family formals will be done immediately after the ceremony. In our case, you called me and you're like, just want to prepare you. You can't start family formals immediately afterwards because they want to recess down, release pews, which we got some pictures of, and then they want to throw rose petals, which again, all meant to be. That ended up being one of their favorite photos.
I know. It looks
The
so
rose
good
petals up in
too.
the
I
air as they
know.
were coming out
So
laughing.
good.
So, don't let your vendors talk you out of grand ideas that are small. I mean, asking to come out of the church and throw rose petals is a grand idea on a small scale. It doesn't take that much to arrange people and have them throw rose petals and have your photographer take pictures.
Yeah, as
And
long as
that
your
ended up
venue's
being
okay with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely biodegradable, people. They may in a lot of places will make you clean it up. Even if it's rose petals, you will have to clean it up before you leave. In this case, this is their family church, so I don't think that happened. But now that I think about it, there were no rose petals on the ground,
The church is amazing. They're like a huge community. So
so they must have cleaned it up.
they did because they knew that we couldn't because we had to get to reception. There were still a ton of things that needed done at reception.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was definitely somebody from the church.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because I was thinking I did family formals very close to that area because it had rained the night before. So we got through the rose petals. We did half the family formals inside for some of the individuals that weren't going to be able to do it outside because remember it was cold and it's harder to get, some grandparents and things like that outside when they can just sit comfortably in the pews and we can just bring them up a shorter distance. So we did those photos in the church. And then the original plan was we were going to like go out to a little like botanical garden area. It was on the other side of the parking lot, but it had been a torrential downpour the night before. And I had gone over there and checked it out prior to the ceremony and it
Mud.
was quite mucky and messy. Now, I always give my couples the choice. I was really nervous about her dress. Her dress was like ball gown, if you
Yes.
remember,
Ball
worthy.
gown.
And I was
Yeah.
really nervous about because of the amount of what's the bottom part of a dress called? I'm drawing a blank. Skirt.
Bottom part of
The
Oh,
amount of
yeah.
skirt that she had, because like with
That
an
was like a
A-line
crinoline. Yeah.
dress, yeah, an A-line dress, I don't have to worry about so much of ground coverage to keep you dry. She had a ball gown, so it's out farther and around in the train. And all I was picturing was first getting her through the parking lot, and there were cars leaving, and we had children with us, but also getting her over there, and how was I gonna keep the dress dry and
Mhm.
not soaking up the mud because we still had all the photos to do.
Right.
And that was my biggest concern. And, family formals, I know from experience, someone's gonna step on that dress. Add in muddy
100%.
shoes, and it's a nightmare.
It's a
And so
situation.
I talked to them about it. They're super laid back and cool. They were like, whatever you think to give us good photos. And so I know it was an unpopular opinion with some people to do the photos right outside the church with like some green trees in the background. The couple was like, you do whatever you need to do to give us good photos. And I know Cameron was like, I don't want my dress to get wet or muddy. So we did them like right off to the side of the church. Some of the church was in the background, but just like the building, you couldn't see like the door. No one would know exactly where we were at if you were just looking at the family photos. And then there was some landscaping that was beautiful. But most importantly, I was able to keep them on the concrete sidewalk. So there was no mud, there was no water. It was still chilly. Chaz was appreciating because he was hot from being in a jacket in a church for an hour and a half. Us girls were a little more chilly and we kept joking about that. But we got through family formals. But one of the other funny situation that kept happening, and this is a me problem, not anyone else, but right on the edge of my camera right side of my photo was just the edge of the door to the church, and there was like a stone bench there. And people had set their stuff there, bridesmaids had put their purses, and I asked them all if they could move it. They were like, yeah, absolutely. So just because I want a clean photo. I'm all about clean photos. If you follow me, you know I'm always photoshopping stuff out. So I can Photoshop it out, but I was concerned because there was like a little bit of a fence. There was a little bit of like landscaping. And I was like, how good would I be able to Photoshop the stuff on the bench out? Not sure. Let's just move it. So we moved it all to the other bench that wasn't in my photo. But every single time someone came out of the church, they set something down. And I was like, excuse me,
Move
ma'am,
your stuff.
can you not sit there? Can you sit on the other bench? Which was like 3 feet, like because they were like on the sides of the
Yeah.
doors when you come out. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Sorry about that. I'm like, nope, I'm sorry to make you move. And then someone else would come down and put their jacket. And I'm like, hey, sir, could you move your jacket from that bench, please? And it just like kept happening as people were coming out. And again, like that's no one's they don't know.
Yes. Yes.
But
they
that
don't
was one of
know.
those things where at the time I was like, I could do these photos so much faster. if People would quit putting their stuff
Putting
there.
their stuff. That must be the communal bench.
And it was just like the lights earlier in the day, like in the moment. I'm just like, someone stop the lights from going on.
Anybody help me.
Anybody. So no, it all worked out. And then the couple doesn't know this part. So I've never been to this church before, ever. And I always try to get ahead of the party bus so that I can get like set up and ready to go and all the things.
It's in the middle of literally nowhere.
Yeah. So
I'm like in the middle of literally nowhere.
that also does not have cell phone signal, which means GPS does not
No.
work.
No. And it's
I
like in
did
a
not-
valley.
I did not pay great attention how I got there because I'm following GPS and I'm driving like Corella DeVille to get to the wedding ceremony. Like in GPS, we trust. But we could not get out of there because GPS would not kick in to the courthouse, which is where we were going for photos. So that's the moment that someone's like, is there a 5K in St. Clairsville today? And I'm like,
which I had no idea about. St. Clairsville I live in St. Clairsville, so I can talk the talk. They just decide on a whim, you know what? Let's do this today. And everyone's like, what? And they'll just shut down Main Street. And you're like, what?
And at this point, I was like, they're already loaded on the party bus. There's not that many options considering it's cold and it's rained. Like there's not very many. And we had discussed going to a different park, which I had photographed before, which was just going to be greenery and whatnot. Based on the photos that she had sent me for her inspo, I wanted stone and pillars and all the things to kind of match that vibe. But again, also this dress and the shoes and the wetness and the muck. That was what I was most concerned about. And so I was like, we're just going to drive. I looked at the videographer. He had a Tesla. He was kind of getting it to like let him search, but we're like, let's just drive until one of us gets signal and hope for the best. And that's what we did. And we eventually got signal. We were able to type it in and we were able to still get ahead of the party bus by about a couple of minutes. A little less than I would have preferred, but we got up there.
Ahead. I tell you this too. My neighbor, so St. Clairsville is a smaller town. And my neighbor was actually at that tent there was a tent because they were doing the National Day of Prayer. This is actually making me cackle, literally. And I always have my daughter and we're like walking the streets because my daughter lives outside.
That was where I was going with this story.
Yeah, so I'm glad I interjected because Sweet Bill comes up to me and he was like, you still doing those weddings? I'm like, he's so sweet. He's like, am I still doing those weddings? Yes, Bill, I'm doing those weddings.
Oh,
He's like, "Well,
no.
did you know there was church sweethearts?" And I said, "That was my wedding bill." I was like, I had coordinated that wedding with my team.
I'm crying.
He's so sweet. Like, I'm not making fun of Bill is amazing. He's like the neighborhood watch. And so he was like, "Well, I was just reading for the National Day of Prayer, and all of a sudden, here they came out of the bus and at the courthouse. I would love to see what those photos look like. I was interested to understand why they wanted to do the courthouse." He just like went on about it for 10 minutes. And I said, "I'll show you the gallery when it comes out," which I have not showed Bill yet because they
Send him
look
the blog.
amazing. I'm going to. But
Oh my god.
he was
Hold on, let's
cracking
back
up.
up. Let's back up and go, because that's where I was
"Er?"
going with this. We show
Somebody
up to
came
the
from
courthouse, which I have photographed a lot in
Yeah, it's
my
a
10
popular
plus
spot.
years of weddings. And
Yes.
imagine my surprise when there's a tent set up exactly where I normally take pictures and they're reading the Bible for the National Day of Prayer. There is not one person in this
Right.
entire city. There is no one on the street
It is
except
just this
for the
tiny
people
tent,
in the tent
10 by 10.
reading for the National Day of Prayer. And again, let's circle back to Hannah likes to be super respectful.
Yeah.
But I also have like no time left to make a change.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we gotta do.
Internal panic because
Which
we
is
need
so
to be
funny.
respectful.
Yeah, because I saw it the day before, because I live there, and I was like, it said 24 hours, and I was like, I swore I had seen it for 2 days now. So I was like, I'm not gonna say anything to Hannah. There's no way they're keeping that up on
Mhm.
Saturday. I'm like, this is getting tore down tonight. I should have just
Mm-mm.
texted you
Mhm.
because lo and behold, it went like 48 hours. It was not 24 hours. It was like 48 hours.
My makeup is running. I'm
I
dying.
know, we were dying
I
laughing,
can't believe everyone who's listening to this is the first time Ashley has told me that she knows.
I did this on purpose because I knew we were gonna talk about this
I'm
wedding, and I was like, I can't
so
wait to say Bill's
sweaty
story.
and uncomfortable
Bill's
right
like,
now.
"How dare they interrupt our national?" No, he actually was like, so it like made his day. People, I feel like that small town, like they just feel like so excited about things like that. And he was like, "Yeah, my buddy said he went to that wedding and it was a big one." Like just so sweet and like actually genuinely
I can't believe it.
like wanting
I
to
can't
know
believe
about
it.
this wedding. So it was actually the best people. So
What are the
to be
chances that
there
you
because they
knew
were
these
like
people?
spoiled.
Because here I was going to roll in and I was just going
Not
to say,
fine.
I said in my head, I'm never going to see these people again. We'll be quiet, we'll be respectful, we'll take our pictures and we'll leave. And here you are, you know
He
the
knows you.
person. Oh, anyhow,
Which is
anyhow.
funny because I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Wheeling, West Virginia. So I am not from there. So for me to know
I'm
anyone is
stressed. I'm
hilarious.
sweaty now. Oh,
No,
here we
they
are.
they thought it was so sweet and they want to see the gallery.
So send them the blog, but I again with respect. I had a goal to get this couple very beautiful pictures with stone and with some greenery because their engagement session was very green. We did it in a field. It was gorgeous. Like
Which is I'm glad that you ended up doing the photos there because it is so different,
yeah.
like their
And
engagement
the
session.
tent for the National Day of Prayer was blocking the only like 3 trees in the whole vicinity. And so I found another couple trees that were a little bit down the road. And my thought was, I need trees and I need to stay away from this tent because we do not want to interrupt what they're doing. We have to be respectful. We have to share space. We are in a public place. So we went down to the other side. And again, like it couldn't have happened with a better bridal party and bride and groom who are like the sweetest, most respectful, traditional religious folks who like get it. I mean, a drunk rowdy bridal party that didn't listen and I had to yell and scream and be like, "Hey, come over here." That would have been a disaster. This group
Right.
was like perfect. So we took them down the edge. That's where I did all their individuals. Stone, brick, trees. We had the best of all worlds. Then we moved down past the tent and we went to the courthouse steps and did bridal party. And then I sent everyone back to the party bus because I was like, I want to keep it chill. And they were happy to do it, especially the ladies because it was cold.
Mhm.
And then I took the couple up the stairs, which I tried not to make too much noise or carry on or anything like that. And then we went about our business and we headed off to the reception. And then at that point, our DJ friend took over and your girls took over. And I just became a paparazzi at that point. And there was like a small seating chart mix up. But other than that, there was
That's
nothing.
what makes
It
it
was
so
perfect.
hard. Yeah, when I'm not partial planning, and even when I am partial or full planning, it really is on the family to do the seating chart because we don't know your family.
Right.
I try to guide everyone as best I can. And the mom kept apologizing to Irene and Lauren, and they're like, "No, it's okay. Like, we're here to
Yeah.
help.
They
Like,
figured it
whatever
out.
we can
Yeah.
do." Yeah. They like moved chairs and it was fine, but everybody always gets so up in arms, especially guests for some reason. And I get it because they're like, well, what's going on with my seat? Where am I going to sit? Like people start to really freak out. And I think that's something that I wish we could give more info on. Like, it's all good. We can get a seat, we can get
Right.
extra settings. Like, it'll be
Right.
resolved in 5 minutes or less. But it happens. I would say at every wedding, not every wedding, but I would say 60% have a seating chart issue,
Yeah.
whether
And
it's somebody showing up, like I had this past weekend, or somebody not showing up, whatever it is, or a mix up in tables. Yes.
yeah, and I see again because people forget photographers have ears. And I'm comfortable enough to say I think I know what happened because I happened to be standing there by the main doors because that's where they were greeting people and where they were going to get announced from. So I kind of hover to make sure I am ready for when things are about to happen. And I overheard people at those tables talking, and they said, "Well, I don't think that they accounted for the extra." I think they brought extra people that the mom, the families, and the couple, I think,
Didn't know.
and then maybe kids. I don't know for sure, but that's what I gathered, that they had taken it upon themselves to bring people that the family and couple were not expecting to be there.
And we should say this, this wasn't like a 250, which is big, or a
No, it
200.
was
This was a
massive.
330 person wedding, which
Yeah.
is just not the average anymore. It
No.
used to be, but not anymore. So it was a massive wedding.
I'm so excited big weddings are back. I'm so
I
excited
know.
big
It
weddings are
was
back.
fun. It was fun.
I
I
love
actually
it
I
all.
told Lauren, who was one of my coordinators, 2 weeks before, no, a month before, 'cause she was on the month meeting, and she texted me during the meeting, and she said, "Ashley, you didn't tell me this was 300." Not that it
Yeah,
bothers her, but
right.
she was like, "Whoa." She was, like, so excited. She's like,
We're
"'Cause she
not
didn't tell me
used
it's
to that
330."
anymore. I'm
We're not.
so happy big weddings are back. It's been so long since in church weddings. I know it's an unpopular opinion for photographers, especially ones who natural
No,
light and
they're
all that thing.
back. They're back.
I
Gen
love
Z
a
loves
church
church
wedding.
weddings.
I love a
Yeah.
church wedding. I love that we're inside and we don't have to worry about the rain and the wind and the weather and sun coming out and sun coming in. I love a church wedding. Give them all to me.
I know a lot of these outside ceremony location spots, like people aren't, I'm not saying that they're going away or that people don't love them, but they're not the popular anymore. Most are wanting to do inside. Like I had a couple, I just did an inquiry call yesterday and I'm so excited about it. It's a venue I haven't done in a while and it's in Pittsburgh. And she's like, oh no, we're doing inside. And I was like, okay, like I'm here for it. And I was like, they have outside location. So I was really like intrigued by that they decided inside over outside.
I haven't had an outdoor ceremony yet this year. My first one will be the end of June. That's gonna be my first outdoor ceremony this year.
I know. I think I'm with you.
Yeah,
Wait, no, I
they're
had
all
one and I just had to pull it because it was that rainy Memorial Day.
yeah.
But, yeah, no, crazy. But yeah, to recap Chaz and Cameron's day, like on our end, it was so flawless, easy. Honestly, Hannah was more immersed in it because we really were putting things together, making sure ceremony was put together, reception was put together. Whenever we're with Hannah, I feel like she really can command the pictures and moments that she needs. So I always tell the girls to the ladies take a back seat to you because I want you to drive because you know your pace and they're more to help guests get to their seats, make sure all of that is happening so that you can get your moments that are on your checklist. So really they had an easy day. Like, and then we had the best team. You know, our preferred DJ was there. The
Video.
space, the reception was literally a college
I
ballroom
know!
and it was beautiful. It did
First
not look like a
time.
college
It was the
ballroom. It
first
was
time for me, I loved it.
phenomenal. And it was very minimal stuff. So when I tell everyone you don't need these massive centerpieces and this massive amount of budget for florals, it was literally greens and candles. But because they did a color pop napkin, which I suggested, that
And
brought color
uplighting.
to the room and uplighting, that was another
Mhm.
huge suggestion that because actually the DJ was with me
Chef's
at their
kiss.
planning meeting. So funny because it's never happens. We said uplighting will change this room and it did and the backdrop changed the room because she did not want to see a lot of blue. She was
Yep.
so worried about
Yeah,
the
the
blue
room was
ceiling.
painted blue, yeah.
You could not see that blue ceiling. In your photos, if you go back, I don't even see the ceiling.
And I could have desaturated. I didn't realize it. Cameron, girl, if you're listening to this, if it bothers you a lot and like the detail pictures, I can desaturate it more too. I thought personally that it tied in very well with the pink color
So tied
palette, the
in.
flat, like
Yeah.
the spring flowers.
It was very pastelish.
Yes, it matched her bouquet perfectly. I didn't think anything about because sometimes, let's be honest, Ashley, we walk
Yes, we're
into some
honest.
rooms, like I said, with the ugly hotel rooms, and we're like,
Oh my God.
the colors are clashing. And this was not one of
It
those
be
weddings.
clashing.
I never thought about the blue ceiling until you just said it. So
I know. It was
Good to know.
honestly a perfect day from start to finish. I saw the family the following day. I texted Hannah because I had to tear down their backdrop. And I also was another thing that I helped them with setup, which I usually only allot like 2 hours for the rehearsal day for day of coordination, but I ended up spending like 5 hours with them because I could tell it was a situation. Like they needed help badly. And I don't want the wedding to go badly. And it didn't. And I'm so glad I stayed and helped decorate because it looked amazing. But I saw them the next day and we just hugged and they cried. And like that
They're the
is
very
why we
genuine
do.
family. Very
That just
genuine family.
yeah. Like
Both of
I
them.
post yes. I literally say like reasons why we do what we do. And there's a job and then there's our passion. And that is the passion right there. Like to help that family just feel a little bit less stressed, that was worth it for me.
And that's a testament to why
So it
I
was
don't
awesome.
like to do city luxury big weddings. No
Like we
offense
talked
to
about our last
them,
podcast.
but
We
you
love you
don't
luxury vendors. We weren't being mean to you last week. We were just saying
yeah.
that's not our vibe.
You
Like it's
don't
not
get
it.
the hugs and the family vibe and the like. I feel like if I ran into them at a restaurant tomorrow, I would run up and hug them all and ask them how things are going. And
Mm.
you just don't get that in the other culture of weddings, the high end luxury. Maybe you do sometimes, but in my experience, you don't. The small town weddings,
The
you very
planner
much
does. Yep, the
okay.
planner
So the
does, and
planner
that's
does,
it.
but the
Yeah,
other vendors don't.
because the planner is just taking care of the vendors. The couple is
You're right.
literally hiring this person so that they don't have to communicate with anybody
You're right.
else. For the most part, that's not all of luxury
Yeah,
weddings,
it's
but
not
it's
it's n I mean, because 'cause we've had small town weddings where I literally book the couple, I don't hear from them until the wedding, and I never hear from them again afterwards. So it's not like a hard, fast rule. It's just in my experience, I love a small town wedding, church wedding. Thank you.
well, and
Big
you get
wedding.
if I'm planning them, you were with me, and I include Hannah. Like I'm like, no, you still need to meet with Hannah.
Yeah,
You still need to go and do your meetings with her. Like I like am a huge
right,
advocate for that. I want my couples to know their vendors. They're
right.
with you literally all day.
It's
You need to
so
feel comfortable with
hard
them.
for me
Mhm.
to photograph a couple when I don't know them and I haven't met them. Like, for example, I did an engagement session a couple weeks ago where she kept telling me over and over again, I never like photos of myself. I'm so picky. Make
Aw.
sure my hair isn't frizzy. Make sure this, make sure that. And I'm like, yes, yes. Had I not had those conversations with her prior and gotten to know her, I would have never paid attention to those things as much as I did at the engagement session. Then I have other couples that are like, I don't want to be stressed or worry about anything. Boss us around the entire time and we'll just do whatever you need us to do. I need to
Yes.
know those things so that I can give you exactly what you want, which is why I
Right.
like to get to know my couples. And my other
Yes.
couple, she loved her photos. She's like, I love these. She's posting them all over social media. She's like, I never loved photos of myself and I'm obsessed with these. She goes, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this in a great way. But I feel like I honed in on the things that were bothering her, like her hair. And I made sure to give it extra, love on the session and in post processing because she's like, it gets frizzy and humidity. I'm like, I can take care of all that. Where then I have another bride who has, so she calls it her crazy curly hair, and she loves like the bigger and the more
The
curly her
volume.
hair is, leave
Yeah,
it. She does not want me to touch it. How would I know that if I don't meet people ahead of time?
it's true.
And that's my. We've spent an entire wedding not talking about anything at the script and spent the whole time talking about Cameron and Chess.
It was an amazing day. We love you, Cameron and Chaz. It was the best.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed this. We're gonna sign out here. We have to do a part two. We have to do a part
Part
two
dose. We love a part dose.
coming up.
Maybe we'll really do next week.
Yeah, let's put that on the calendar now and hope for the best.
Ted. Well, with that,
All right, let's wrap it up here. Thank you all for listening to another episode of What in the Wedding. Is that
you
all?
can, yes, please remember to follow and subscribe and leave us all those stars so we start showing up as a recommended podcast so that it makes us do this more often because we do love doing this. So
We
we need
do.
to just make time for it.
Yep.
Also, suggestions for our new listeners. If you have any topics, suggestions, questions, honestly, that's a big thing. We want to
Mm.
hear from you. Like, what do you want to hear? I know
Yes.
a lot of people love the video. Now that we're doing video, a lot of my brides like, oh, I love that you guys are doing video now. And that was like great. News stories, anything you want us to talk about in general, you can reach out to us on Instagram or email us at whatinthewedding@gmail.com. That's it for today. Bye.